I left off on the creation of man, but I threw in that Jesus thing. You ask a question, I will answer it. Okay, point blank. I come back or what have you if I have to, like now. Okay, but the creation of man. Now, in the book of Genesis, it's stated that God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. That's in the book of Genesis. Okay, and on the seventh day he rested. Now, in the Quran, it also speaks about how Allah created the heavens and the earth in 6 periods, along with the sun, moon, and star, and that is in Surah 7, the elevated places. My favorite surah. Elevated places, Surah 7, Ayat 54. And in addition to that, Surah 11, Ayat 7, Surah 57, Ayat 4 states the same thing. But just for the sake of it, and it is for validation, I'm going to read Surah 754 to you in regards to Allah creating the heavens and the earth in 6 periods. This is Surah 754, okay? And it says, surely your Lord is Allah who created the heavens and the earth in 6 periods, and he is established on the throne of power. He makes the night cover the day, which it pursues incessantly, and he created the sun, the moon, and the stars, and was made subservient by his command. Okay? Surah 7:54, God created the heavens and the earth as well in the Quran as he did in the Bible. Christians and Muslims are the same. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. It states that, and this is the Bible in Genesis, okay? It states that, Genesis, that God created man from the dust, from the ashes, created him from nothing. Well, in Surah 7, Ayat 11, it states that we indeed created you and fashioned you, and then we said to the angels, submit to Adam, and they did submit, except Iblis. Same thing, right? And in Surah 76, which I spoke about yesterday, which is entitled Creation of Man. It just is entitled Man. But it speaks about the creation of man in Surah 76, where it states, in the beginning, right there when you open it up, it says that we created you from sperm mixed with ovum, okay? And there's a whole bunch of other surahs and places in the Quran that verifies the Bible. In fact, just from my standpoint and from my scholarship, I would say that the Quran just verifies the Bible, or is the same as the Bible, just for a different people, just for a different concord. And they all together remember the Trinity now. And if you don't know what the Trinity is, go back and watch Muslims and Christians 1 and 2, okay? Like I said, and in Genesis 2, it states that that God created man from the dust. And in Surah 7 and Ayat 11, it stated that we indeed created you and fastened you. And then we said to the angels, submit to Adam. So they submitted, except Iblis, the devil, aka Jesus Christ. Damn right. Jesus is the devil. Now, the devil said that he is the bright and morning star, and Jesus said that he is the bright and morning star in the book of Revelations, chapter 22, verse 6 17. Don't argue with me. I don't need no explanations. I don't need nobody to tell me what it means. I have my own mind and I know what it says in black and white, and you too should do the same. Moving right along. Now in the book of Genesis, you have Eve. Okay, and it says that Eve is created from the rib of Adam. Okay, and in the Quran, it says in Surah chapter 4, ayat 1, okay, it says that, O people, keep your duty to your Lord and Savior who created you from a single being and created your mate of the same kind. Same story, same thing. What's the beef? I mean, obviously, you too, Christians and Muslims, are ignorant to the fact that you two are the same. I'm just saying. If you want, don't argue with me. Argue with your material. Argue with your holy books. Don't argue with me. Argue with your books that you represent. Okay? And I'm going to move it right along. But also, before I move to the next demonstration, Eve is not called Eve in the Quran. Eve is just called woman or mate or wife to Adam. That's it. That's all. She doesn't have a name in the Quran. However, if you go further into Muslim literature, you will find, I think it's called the Taz Miraj, Miradj. You will find that they call Eve Hawa, Hawa, and she is the mother of mankind, and as in the words of one of the master teachers, kind of a man. Okay? Okay. Moving right along. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 17, God places Adam and Eve in the garden and told them not to eat of a particular tree, which is entitled or called the tree of knowledge and good and evil, right? That's in the Bible. Now, if you go to Surah 7 in the Quran, ayat 19 through 25, which I'm going to read that to you, okay? And I'll give you another verse, another book and verse, surah and ayat, to reinforce the one that I'm giving you, which is Surah 7, ayat 19 through 25, okay? 19 through 25. It says in Surah 7, entitled The Elevated Places, Surah 7, 19, and we said, O Adam, dwell thy and your wife in the garden, so eat from wherever you may like, but go not near this tree, lest you become of the unjust. But the devil made an evil suggestion to them, that he may make manifest to them that which had been hidden from them of their shame. And he said, your Lord has been forbidden for you to eat this tree, unless you become angels or become of the immortals. Now, doesn't that sound like what the devil said to Adam and Eve in the garden when he said that God don't want you to eat of that tree because you become like God? Doesn't that sound the same? I'm just saying. Muslim and Christians are the same. And I didn't even have to go down to the 25th verse. I just started on the 19th and finished off at the end of 20. But I'll go further. And it says, and he swore to them both, surely I am sincere advice to you. Thus he caused them to fall by deceit. So when they had tasted of the tree, their shame became manifest to them, and they both began to cover themselves with the leaves of the garden. Doesn't that sound like the Garden of Eden? And this is coming out of the Quran. Oops, my hand's up. Yeah, the Quran. I may not have a physical vision like my brother has out there in Detroit, but I have a mental vision, which is just as well, which is just as good. However, Christians and Muslims, or Muslims and Christians, are the same. He caused them to fall by deceit. I don't even have to go through the rest. I don't have to go through the other 3 verses. I only finished the 22nd ayat. Okay? So how did you defend yourself against that if you two call yourself different? You can't. Even in regards to Adam and Eve children, mainly 2 of them, Cain and Abel, right? They had Seth later, but according to history or literature or whatever stories you want to put out there, Eve had many kids, okay? But anyway, we're going to stick to the subject. Now, like I said, Adam and Eve had some children, and the first 2 were Cain and Abel, and Cain and Abel got into it, and Cain killed Abel because of a sacrifice or something that he made to Jehovah, and dude got mad because, Cain got mad because Abel's offering was accepted by Jehovah and his was not. And some jealousy arise or erupted, and the next thing you know, Cain killed Abel. Okay? Now, the same story takes place in Surah 5, ayat 27 through 31. And I'm going to read that to you real fast. I tried to have it like, in order for you so it didn't take all day. But Surah 5, ayat 27 to 31, and it states, and relate to them with truth the story of the 2 sons of Adam, when they offered an offering, but it was accepted from one of them and was not accepted from the other. He said, I will certainly kill thee, the other, and Allah accepts only from the dutiful. If thou stretch out thy hand against me to kill me, I shall not stretch out my hand against thee to kill thee, meaning you, meaning Cain. Surely I will fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I would rather that thou shouldest beat the sin against me and thine own sin, that thou wouldest be of the companions of the fire, and that is the recompense of the unjust. And the length of his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother Abel. So he killed him, Cain. So he became one of the losers, Cain. Then Allah sent a crow scratching the ground to show him how to cover the dead body of his brother. Sounds like the same story to me. What do you think? So the next time someone wants to get into a conversation with you in regard to Christians and Muslims, or Muslims and Christians, and how they're different, you can tell them that they're all the same. Stupid. But we're going to finish this thing all the way up to Moses. You see, we're going to finish this thing up to Moses, and then I'll be gone. Okay. Muslims and Christians are the same. Now, in the book of Genesis, they speak of Noah. Okay, they speak of Noah and how all of this rain had came, and the flood, and how he had his wife, and he got all of these animals in the ark. That's what it says in the book of Genesis, right? Christianity, right? But now, there is a whole surah in the Quran that is dedicated to Noah. In fact, the surah is entitled Noah, or Nuh, which is Surah 71. Surah 71. But the specifics of the flood in the Quran, I'm going to give it to you. And that is in Surah 7, Ayat 59. Okay? Surah 7, Ayat 59, in regarding to Noah. And so he said, "O my people, serve Allah. You have no other God than him. Indeed, I fear for you the chastisement of a grievous day." The people, the chiefs of his people said, "Surely we see thee in clear error." And he said, "O my people, there is no error in me, but I am a messenger from the Lord of the worlds. I deliver you the messages of my Lord, and I offer you good advice, and I know that from my Lord what you know not. Do you wonder that a reminder has come to you from your Lord through a man from among you?" Blah, 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 blah. Noah has a whole book or surah dedicated to him in the Quran. All the characters are the same. And there are even more characters in the Quran than there is the Bible, because they added two. But then that was a 600-year gap as well. You have to remember this stuff. Okay? In the book of Genesis, we were left from Noah. Now we're going to go to Abraham. In the book of Genesis, it speaks about Abraham. In the book of Genesis, it speaks about Abraham and how Abraham is going to be the father of many nations, you know, and is one of the great prophets, etc., correct? And he had his sons, Isaac, Ishmael, and then Isaac had Jacob, you know, and so forth and what have you, right? Now that is in the Bible, and for those of you who are Bible thumpers or not Bible thumpers, I'm sure you've heard the story. Well, there's a book of Abraham also in the Quran, and it speaks pretty much the same in regards to the lineage and the prophethood of Abraham, known as Ibrahim in Arabic, okay? And that is in Surah 6, Ayat 84 and Ayat 85. And I'm going to read that to you. And it says, and this was our argument which we gave to Abraham against his people. We exalt in degrees whom we please. Surely thy Lord is wise and knowing. And we gave to him Isaac and Jacob. Each did we guide, and Noah did we guide before and of his descendants. David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, and Moses. And Aaron. and thus do we reward those who do good. Now remember, yesterday I also gave you that, or those who Allah is going to reward, and that is in Surah 2, ayat 62. But I didn't expect to go there right now, but I will, just for the sake of it, seeing that it's dealing with Abraham and all of these prophets, or lineage, or nations of prophets, or nations of people, chosen people. But I'm going to go back real fast, and it'll take a hot second. And it says, surely those who believe, and those who are Jews, and those who are Christians, and those who are Sabians, whoever believes in Allah and the last days and does good, they have their reward with their Lord, and there is no fear for them, nor shall they grieve. You got that? Muslims and Christians are the same. There's no difference. There is no difference. You got that? But I'm about to close out with Moses, because I'm pressed for time. I'm really pressed for time. I got to get on the road. Got somewhere to go. In the book of Exodus, it speaks about Moses and how he was looking to flee Egypt with his people, and Pharaoh was supposed to let them go, and how they had this death and bugs and pestilence and all of this going on. Well, that happened in the Bible, right? But guess what? It happened in the Quran too. And that too is in Surah 7. I swear to you, Surah 7 is an awesome surah. If you want to compare notes in regards to Quran versus Bible. Comparing literature, not history. Literature. Okay? Surah 7. Surah 7, ayat 100. Okay? And it says, Is it not to those who inherit the earth after its former residents, that if we please, we would afflict them for their sins and seal their hearts so that they will not hear? And if you go down to ayat 103, I want to skip the other two, but that is Surah 7, ayat 103. Then after them we sent Moses with our messages to Pharaoh and his chiefs, but they disbelieved them. See them, what is the end of the mischief makers? And Moses said to Pharaoh, surely I am a messenger from the Lord of the worlds, worthy of not saying anything of Allah except the truth. I have come to you indeed with clear proof from your Lord, so let the children of Israel go with me. He said, Pharaoh, if thou hast come with a sign, produce it if thou art truthful. So he, Moses, threw his rod, then lo, it was a serpent manifest. And he drew forth his hand, and lo, it was white to the beholders. Okay? I don't have to go no further. That sounds like the book of Exodus and Moses' experience in the book of Exodus is here in the Quran. And then the chiefs of the people said, surely this is a skilled enchantment. Remember they called Moses a magician in the book of Exodus? He intends to turn you out of your land. What do you advise? They said, put him off and his brother, and send summoners into the cities to bring to thee every skillful enchanter. The enchanters came to Pharaoh saying, we must surely have a reward if we prevail. He said, yes, you shall certainly be of those who are near to me, They said, "O Moses, will thy cast, or shall we cast first? Who shall go first with the matching?" I'm just saying. That is from the creation of man all the way to Moses in both Bible and Quran, pointing out the highlighted points of those figures in the beginning of the books. Okay. I got something else for you. What did I have it at? Now you know how Muslims, they voodoo, okay? They voodoo, and you can find the procedures of voodoo in Surah 5, Ayat 6. Okay, but also you can find voodoo in the Bible in Exodus chapter 40, verses 31 to 32. Okay. Now with Adam in the Bible in Genesis 2:20, he speaks about how how God told Adam to name all of the birds of the air, fish of the sea, and cattle and what have you in the land. And the same thing took place in the Quran with Adam, with the exception that God taught Adam, and then Adam told the angels the names. And that also is in Surah 2 of the Quran. So that's it for today in a nutshell. And I hope that you all got something out of it. Like I said, I got to get out of here. I'm pressed for time today. I want to thank you all for watching the show.